You're live. Are we live? Can you see me?
No.
Okay, so it's waiting till 5.
How does it look?
Terrific.
How's your sound?
Hello,
No
hello.
idea.
Hello. It's supposed to be bouncing over here before. Oh yeah,
there we
no,
go. So you may be using the microphone from here, and it may not hear you super well if you're not right next to it. Don't do that. I don't think you can increase the sensitivity of the mic like that.
I don't think I can either.
So
well, we'll have to do some tests.
I can go get
At the beginning of the stream, you'll tell
I'm gonna
me
get
whether...
some headphones so I can check actually, and that way I won't cause trouble.
Okay, and we can also just ask the people's. Oh no, there I am. Hey, Susan, it's happening over there on your computer as well.
It is?
Yes. So
Sweet.
I think there are 4 people here. The live stream has begun.
Well, I'm on camera.
There are a few people. Susan's in the background. She's going to be monitoring the chat.
Yeah, someone's here?
Correct. Great.
This is great.
It's Wondering 3 bars. Oh, and Trevor's here. This is great. These are people from the Discord.
Sweet.
Sweet. This is great. We've been a little nervous about our technology and whether or not you can hear me. I'm assuming you can hear me because...
Yes, I can hear you through the headphones, Pete.
And Susan can hear me through the headphones. Great. So Susan's going to monitor the chat, and then if there's a question or comment or whatever, she is going to relay those to me so I don't have to be staring at the chat box all the time. I think I'll wait to see if a few more people show up.
It's not even 5 yet.
Before we start our Pisco talk. It's not even 5 yet?
Yeah, 4:59 according to what I got.
Cool. So we'll wait another minute. But yeah, in the meantime, vamp until ready, I guess.
This is fun, right?
We're having fun, right? Everyone, we're having fun, right?
Yes.
So yeah, Pisco, we're gonna probably make a Pisco sour for Susan. She really loves a Pisco sour. And we're gonna try and come up with some, there are a couple other ideas for drinks that use Pisco, or maybe use Pisco as a rum substitute, see how those come out. And then, I don't know, if the chat has any opinions as we go, you can shout those out and we can try to incorporate those ideas or not. Also, if you have any questions about Pisco or anything else, shout them out in the comments and, you know, we'll address it or whatever. My phone buzzed, I don't know why.
Don't worry about it. It's just the alternate chat.
It's the alternate chat.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got 9 people. 9's enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
Okay, so we're gonna start.
Howdy, friends.
Howdy, friends. We didn't. We were gonna play the theme song, but we decided we didn't get that organized, so we're not playing the theme song. Oh, Dashiell's here. That's good. We're gonna talk about Pisco. This is the only bottle of Pisco I currently have. It's a little bit hard to get Pisco here in Oregon. There are, I don't know, maybe 20-ish bottles to get, and some of them I'm not too confident in their quality. And this is from the Booze Finder, where you can search online in Oregon to find booze. And some of them are just not even available anymore. They're still listed, but there's none available. And some of them are only available in 1 or 2 stores. So anyway, for this, I just have this one bottle. It's Caravedo. You probably can't. Is that hard to see? Kind of.
You're holding it up. Yeah, no,
you can kind of see it. Caravedo. It's Peruvian. They used to be called Patron or Potron, Pisco Patron. I think it's Potron. And they changed the name, and I'm thinking it's probably because of the tequila called Patron. And they probably changed it to avoid confusion, because it was confusing. If you didn't know what Pisco was, you might have thought this Pisco Patron was a tequila made by Patron Tequila. Anyways, Pisco. I've been doing a little research on Pisco. It's very interesting, and I'm going to probably buy some more bottles of Pisco and do a Pisco video, because that's what I do now, is buy bottles and make videos. The first thing you'll hear about Pisco, if you start looking into it, is this controversy about Peru and Chile, who both claim Pisco as their national drink. And they both claim that Pisco originated in their country. What I've been reading seems to claim that Pisco started in Peru. For one thing, the town of Pisco is a port where they were exporting all this Pisco from, is how it got its name. So that's one thing. Pisco is a native word that means bird, which is just an interesting fact.
Who knew?
Who knew? So in terms of this controversy, Peru wants to have a domain of origination, like a cognac style thing where Pisco can only come from Peru. That's what they would like to have the law be. And they've determined that in their country. Chile would like Pisco to be just a general term, and anyone can use the term Pisco if they're making unaged brandy. So like the European Union and Canada and America haven't recognized Peru's sort of claim to be to have their exclusive rights to the name Pisco. So if you're in Canada or Europe or America, Pisco can come from either Chile or Peru. But in Chile, you can't call it Pisco unless it comes from Chile. And in Peru, you can't call Chilean Pisco Pisco. So they've got their like micro laws or whatever.
Pete, did you tell me earlier today that the top importer of Peruvian Pisco was Chile?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. The U.S. is the number 2 importer of Pisco, and Chile is the number 1 importer. So Chile is getting a lot of Pisco from Peru. But I also read on the internet today on the Wikipedia that Chile makes a lot more Pisco, but Peru exports a lot more Pisco. And so I'm not sure exactly what that means, unless Chile's making a lot of Pisco for like industrial purposes or, to add to other things. Because what they were doing originally was making wine, of course, and for various reasons, mostly about the Spanish, they started distilling it and they would fortify the wine. So if you're familiar with like Madeira or sherry, especially Madeira or port, they would take wine and they'd put it on the ships that were sailing across the ocean, but they would fortify them to keep them from oxidizing. So like Madeira is an island off the coast of Europe somewhere, sort of a very far west island. And they would make this wine there and they would fortify it with, neutral spirit so that it wouldn't go bad on the trip over to wherever. And the sailors would all have wine to drink. You can't go sailing without wine, I guess. And so they would do a similar thing in Peru, where they would fortify the wine they were making there to have wine to go back or to go up to America or wherever they were going. So I don't know why Chile is making so much Pisco if they're not exporting it. But we're going to stick to Peruvian rules. There's a lot more Peruvian rules than there are Chilean rules when it comes to Pisco. The Peruvians seem to be more focused on the sort of the quality of the spirit for export and whatnot, and the Chileans' rules are different when it comes to the spirit. The Chilean sort of categories of Pisco only have to do with how high proof it is. That's how you determine which category it goes in. Whereas the Peruvian rules are all about what kind of grapes are you using, and if they're blended or not blended, and what you've done to the grapes ahead of time, things like that. But we're going to go over all that right now, as soon as I have a sip of water.
Doing great.
Cool. The rules. So these are some interesting rules about Pisco. The Peruvian rules. I'm going to say the Peruvian rules now, and then I'm going to stop mentioning that they're Peruvian rules. The rules for Pisco, there's a few different categories. One is puro, which means pure, which means it can only be made from one variety of grape. So, for example, this bottle is Quebranta, which is one of the grapes you can use to make Pisco. In Peru, there are 8 varieties of grape that you can make the Pisco from. In Chile, I think it's 11, or there's more varieties you can use. But and these grapes mostly came from Spain. So the Spain came to South America and conquered a bunch of lands, and they brought wine grapes with them and started cultivating wine in Peru, which apparently does really well. Then there was some political nonsense with the King of Spain was mad because Peruvian wine, was lowering the price of Spanish wine, or the export of Spanish wine was going down because Peruvian wine was good and cheap or whatever. So he started heavily taxing the Peruvian wine, and then to get around these taxes, they would just distill it instead. And then so Pisco sort of took off as a thing because you didn't have to pay the tax to the King of Spain, because who wants to pay the King of Spain? So back to the rules.
Back to the rules.
Puro is the pure, the single varietal Pisco. Quebranta is one. The one you'll see a lot is a Torrentel. Torrentel is one that you'll see a single varietal of pretty commonly. The other category is Acholado, which is basically a blend. It can be a blend of any of these 8 varieties. Quebranta is one of the most common ones. You'll see that in almost every blend. But if you're going to pick up Pisco at the store, you might pay attention to see if it's a single varietal, which I kind of like this. I love this Quebranta single varietal. That just makes sense to me. But you can probably do a little research and find out, one, if it's from Peru or Chile and what grapes are going in it. And then you can decide if you like that or some other style. The third important style that I read about today that I haven't tried, but I think I'll probably find a bottle and try soon, is called Moto Verde, which is made from, I think it's made from, okay, so what they do is they make wine, right? They harvest the grapes and they stamp them with their feet, and then you ferment the wine. And when it comes to the puro varieties, they ferment it as long as they can, so that the wine is very, very dry, not sweet at all, maximum alcohol, and they distill that. In this Moto Verde variety, they stop the fermentation process before it's fully fermented, so that it's sweeter when they ferment it, or when they distill it. So, and I'm not sure exactly what that does to the flavor, but it's a different method or process that they're using, which, now I want to taste it and find out what's different about it. And I believe those can be blended as well. I don't think you need the pure, the single varietal of that. So that's interesting. And this other very interesting thing I was learning about is that in Peru, they have to use copper pot stills, so no column stills. They can't add anything to it. So there's no sugar added and there's no water added. So what that means is they're distilling it only one time in a copper pot still, and they're distilling it 2 proof. So with most alcohols, like whiskey, for example, you distill it to a pretty high proof, and then you water it down a bit to put it in the barrel, to the barrel strength, and then it changes over time in the barrel, and then when you bottle it, you proof it down to, say, 80 proof or whatever proof you want to bottle it at. And so you're constantly changing the proof of the alcohol. Whereas Pisco, at least Peruvian Pisco, you have to distill it. You can only distill it up to the proof you're going to bottle it at. You bottle it, at that proof, so you're not diluting it at all, and you're not putting it in barrels. The Peruvian Pisco, they're not allowed to age it in a barrel, but you do have to age it for at least 3 months in like a neutral barrel, not a barrel, a neutral container. So glass or stainless steel. And I think they used to do it in clay pots. Maybe you can still do it in clay pots. I'm not 100% sure on that. So you have to do it for at least 3 months in these sort of neutral vessels, just sort of rest it there for 3 months. And then I was looking on the Caravedo website because they'll tell you on there how long each of their different bottles is rested and in what manners. And what they were saying was they're resting them separately. So they're distilling the Quebranta and the other grapes in their blends. They're resting them separately in separate vessels, and then they're blending them and then resting them again for a number of months in the, after it's been blended, and then they bottle it.
Wow.
Which is crazy to me. I don't think there's not a whole lot of other. It's just it seems crazy to me. Most that you're not even allowed to age it,
Christian wants to say hi.
Christian wants to say hi. Hi, buddy. It's a
Okay. Back to Pisco.
it's a apply for likes. Yeah. What was I saying? I was talking about the rules.
You were talking about the weird
alien
resting process.
Yeah. So distilled to proof, not watered down, and not aged at all. In Chile, you are allowed to age it if you want to in a barrel or whatever. So that's like just a whole nother world where they don't seem to have the same sorts of rules as Peru. Is there anything else I was excited to tell you about Pisco? I think that covers mostly what I know about Pisco. I mean, I don't know a ton about it. This is just from a little bit of research, but I find it very interesting that you distill it to proof. I don't know of other things that do that, because if you think about cognac, which is of course another kind of brandy, cognac is all about the barrel. Like you have to age, like the nicer cognacs are aged longer, and you couldn't. I don't think you could even really drink cognac off the still. It would probably taste terrible. You have to age it. I mean, mostly, and you can drink bourbon off the still, and it's okay, but it's no one's favorite. Well, not no one's, but it's not the favorite thing. You really got to age it to make it be good. But Pisco, it's good right off the still. This is 80 proof. I think we should try some.
I was going to say, can we try some?
Yeah, we're going to try some. Where's my other little glass?
Pete, one of our viewers is concerned that a black cat has crossed their video screen. Can you please confirm that Wickersham is gray?
Wickersham is a gray cat, not a black cat.
Very good.
I guess what does that mean? Medium luck?
Good luck.
Yeah, gray cats are good luck, right?
Yeah. Also, one of your viewers has a cat named Pisco.
Really?
Maybe not. They might be kidding.
Oh, who is it?
Mark Brown.
Mark Brown. Welcome, Mark Brown. Not sure if I know Mark Brown, but do you want to? You're gonna try some of this, right?
Yeah. After all that talking about it, so this is a single varietal.
So this is Caravedo, formerly known as Patron, single varietal, Puro Quebranta. Quebranta being the most common grape used in blends. There's also another distinction they make between aromatic and non-aromatic varieties. I didn't quite understand what the difference was, and so I sort of glossed over that. But you'll see Moscatel a lot. Moscatel is like a wine people may have heard of. I think it's a dessert wine typically. Anyway. I'm not going to read all these names of grapes because I don't know.
Try this and let's talk about it.
All right, so we're going to try this.
I've just tried it.
Cheers.
Let's do it.
It's got it's got a certain aroma that reminds me of other kind of unaged spirits, like a rum agricole or grappa especially.
It's really grappa-y.
So for these puros, they don't use what they call the must. Like when you make wine, there'll be these leftover, they call it the must, the like skins and whatnot. And that's exactly what they make grappa from. Grappa is like a product that they're using the byproduct of making this wine to make grappa, which is delicious. But you're not supposed to use that in this, but they will use it in the other Moto Verde variety. So anyway, cheers.
So it's floral.
Yeah, it's got a very floral kind of perfumey note.
You mean?
It does smell a lot like grappa. A little like grappa's got that sort of soapiness to it. It's a little bit of that.
Yep.
I mean, I could sort of see a parallel to mezcal, or like more like rum agricole though, or like a Clarin. It's got that sort of. It's not a funk exactly. It's not a rum funk, but
this actually tastes pretty clean to me. No, you're right. There's something there.
And it's 80 proof. There's very little of that sort of alcohol burn.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, can you hear Susan when she's talking? She's on the other side of the room. Yes, pomace.
Yeah, I think so.
Vino reminded me that the stuff is called pomace. I was calling it whatever I was must.
But it's pomace.
It might be called both. I don't remember. But yeah, pomace.
Yeah.
Back to this. What does it taste like?
It's reminiscent of grappa. It has a soapiness. It's floral. I don't have the love you have for agricole rums. And this does not make me think of agricole rums.
Auntie Susan had a bad experience once with agricole rums.
I'll get over it.
This is not triggering her, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a little bit more. Anyway, it's hard to describe, but I think the single varietals are more likely to have this sort of perfumey, flowery notes to them, and the blends probably less so. But it's a thing to explore. Anyway, I think this is great. I think I want to try using it as rum. And it kind of doesn't make sense. It's like, if you're going to swap things out, the thing that would make sense is to use Pisco instead of brandy. I feel like that makes the most logical sense. I don't think it would make a great gin substitute, although it does have this sort of, it's not an herbal quality exactly, but a sort of bright floralness to it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe a gin. But then I think also subbing for rum somehow makes sense because of this sort of, a white rum, because of this sort of agricole quality to it.
That's our question, right? Whereas this is science lab, this is cocktail lab. We have a science question, which is, if you're going to play around with this in a cocktail, should you pretend it's a white rum or should you pretend it's gin?
Right. I'm going to say it's not gin. Or what about brandy though?
I mean, it technically is brandy. I guess.
It is brandy, but subbing for cognac.
It's not aged, so
it tastes nothing like brandy to me.
It really doesn't.
It tastes more. To say it's from South America and saying it's tropical is kind of stupid, but
yeah,
it has this sort of, I don't know, you can taste the grapes. I guess it's mostly like grappa, honestly.
It really is. And like grappa cocktails, no such thing.
I don't know if y'all out there,
challenge.
How many of y'all love grappa? Have you tried grappa? Do you like grappa? I love grappa, but I went through like a grappa phase, especially after we got back from Italy.
Or before we went.
We drank a certain amount of grappa. And I have some good grappa, but I don't drink it like I used to.
And we never make cocktails with it.
I tried to make some grappa cocktails, and they didn't really succeed that well.
Well,
for one thing, I was working at the library, the whiskey library, and the main bartender didn't like grappa that much because of that soapy quality. It really turned him off. And so you'd make him a drink, say, hey, what do you think of this? And he'd be like, is there grappa in this? So then those don't get on the menu. You know what I mean?
There's some people, some comments
Emma.
about their grappa experiences. Some really like them.
Mm-hmm.
Some seem a little lukewarm. I'm guessing that Emma saying grappa in all caps means she likes it.
I don't think so.
Here's to you.
But first, the class, like I know you wanted with.
We know there's one cocktail that you can make with Pisco that's definitely good, and I want one right now.
Pisco sour.
Pisco sour.
Pisco Sour was invented by an American who had a bar in Lima, Peru. And he invented it, I wrote it down in the 17 something, or 18 something rather, pre-prohibition. Trying to remember his name. I swear I wrote his name down, but now I can't find it. Oh well, doesn't matter. Victor Morris, that's his name. 1916, Victor Morris in Peru.
So it was 1916.
Yes, 1916.
Okay.
That's pre-prohibition.
It is, but it's not the 19th century. So
They should change that rule, in my opinion.
Okay.
Anyway, those are very popular in San Francisco. We're going to make one right now.
Popular here too.
Popular in this house, that's for sure. I'm going to send Auntie Susan to grab the egg white out of the fridge and get the, here, you want this? Take this.
Some ice.
And have her get some ice as well so we can check this out. First thing we're going to need is juice as well. By the way, y'all, I found this juicer. I don't know if y'all have seen these. I know that like Alessandro uses this. I found this at the thrift store and I thought, oh, it's one of those juicers, and I got it, but I think there's a part missing. I think there's supposed to be like a tray or something in here that holds the fruit up so it can get smashed and then sort of strain it down into the bottom. It didn't have that, and I sort of carved a piece of plastic to sort of set in there to keep the fruit from falling down. Anyway, I'm going to try it and use it right now.
The egg white's just in this bowl.
Yeah, egg white's in this bowl.
Here's your ice.
Let's put the ice over here. Thank you, Auntie Susan.
You're welcome.
So first, I'm going to make some juice. Oh, and by the way, y'all, I'm going to do the reverse shake method that we talked about in that video with Justin, because he sent me a picture of his whiskey sour that he reverse shaked and it looked pretty awesome. We're just going to give it a try. Now this is only 80 proof alcohol, so that whole too high proof alcohol special reverse shake method isn't really going to come into play.
We're going to do it anyway.
It's not, I think we could do it in the normal dry shake method and it would be fine. But we're not doing that. We're going to have fun. So,
Okay.
get my tin. We're going to do an ounce of lime juice. Just like that. I mean, this juicer is kind of neat. But I want someone to tell me that there's a part missing, because I'm pretty sure.
Someone in the chat already agreed with you that there's supposed to be a tray there.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if I had known, the question in my mind is, would I have bought it if I knew there was a part missing?
Well, you solved it so easily.
I did solve it. It actually seems to work fine. I'm just going to double check my recipe for Pisco Sour just to make sure I'm not screwing it up. Oh, right. I also need the simple syrup. Be right back.
I could have gotten that for you.
I don't know if this is how it works at y'all's house, but whenever I make a cocktail, I always forget something. I have to go running back and forth to the kitchen. We're going to be doing 3/4 simple syrup. I'm going to use my usual gum. That beautiful gum. I'm almost out of gum, actually.
You are almost out of gum. If we need more sugar, we could be in trouble.
We have brown sugar syrup, so we could always use brown sugar syrup in a pinch.
It's going to change flavor profiles like crazy.
Yeah, we also have grenadine. But,
I could go shake up some cold method simple for you if you needed me to.
Nah. No rules. And Pisco. 2 ounces of Pisco. And I'm not going to put the egg white in yet because I'm going to do the reverse. Just actually.
You know, Pete, it's funny watching you make a cocktail with all the steps included, including all the running to the kitchen with the lime squeezer. Because normally there's this great montage.
Yeah, we don't get montage on the live stream. That
No
would
montage.
would actually be. I wonder if it'd be extremely amusing to. I wonder if you could even do this, like make a montage, and then when it's time to make the drink, like push a button, push play on your streaming software, and play a montage, and then come back and it's already made.
I can think of a few things that might not work about that. If we really had our shit together, we could try it.
This is our first.
This is our first live stream.
Being our first live stream, we're kind of winging it, and we don't have like great technology in terms of like.
There are a lot of comments about how good everything looks and sounds. So
text on screen.
Be happy right now.
I'm gonna say GoPro is great.
Yeah.
GoPro is great for this.
Yeah.
It's got this wide angle. You can see you.
Yeah.
We can see me. You can see the bar. It's great.
And your cocktail says yes, there would be a way to play a video in your live stream.
You probably need some kind of...
StreamYard is what they're using.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to make a loud noise now. Prepare yourselves.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Okay, now we are going to...
There's some lively debate about the Peru versus Chile in the chat.
Really?
So there you go.
I mean, the historians appear to agree that it probably originated in Peru. That's what the internet seemed to think. So I might have been getting a biased view because I was reading something written by a Peruvian. You know what I mean? So we shook that up. We're going to add our egg white and do our reverse shake. Oh, I was going to do this too. Check this out. I got this little, you can do this with like a Hawthorne strainer spring, but I got this like little shake ball thing, Majing.
Is that cocktail supply or was that repurposed from elsewhere?
This is repurposed. I used to drink a lot of like protein powder shake stuff. And I was at the store picking some up once and they were doing like a promo. And so they handed me like a water bottle kind of thing where you're supposed to shake up your protein powder shake. And it had one of these in it to like agitate the stuff. I thought, I wonder if that will fluff up my egg whites.
I'm going to do some fluffy egg whites.
Let me use this glass. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah,
I'm just going to strain this. Make sure I don't get any ice and keep the little silver ball out of it.
You know, the sad thing is with the angle of the camera is we cannot see the drink being poured.
Oh.
It is really too bad.
What a shame.
We'll have to hold it up.
I didn't think ahead to that. I could have moved the camera
Angle
actually.
it down.
That looks pretty good.
Look at all that.
That looks pretty good.
Am I going to get some Ango art?
Yeah, you're going to get some Ango art.
Okay. I want you to angle that down for the Ango art.
Okay, we're going to just get fancy here. And I think everyone can see the drink now. I've got Ango in a dropper bottle. A little line. Grab a pick. Little swooppies. I mean, this is pretty good foam.
Yeah.
But it is like lighter. It's not as dense. Like the art.
It's melting a bit.
Doesn't come out quite as good in this. But it has a nice thick layer of foam. So
yeah. I do want to say that the Pisco Sour is one of the first cocktails I had that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that one of the things that blew my mind about it was the Ango art. And
we had it in San Francisco with Mark at that brunch place.
We had it at Nopa, but we also had it at Alembic.
Oh, right, Alembic.
In fact, we still have a memento from Alembic.
I think we have matches or something from Alembic. Susan's going to fetch them for some reason.
I mean, what the
I'm
hell?
going to move this back up.
Here we are.
Oh yeah, it's our Olympic matchbook. Did we get that umbrella from Olympic?
Probably on that same trip. Anyway,
I mean, that's only 20 years old.
it's only. Anyway, I'm excited to have a Pisco sour. Thanks, baby.
Sure.
It's fun.
Enjoy.
I'm gonna drink it right now.
What are your thoughts on Pisco Sour?
That's delicious.
Getting some nice Pisco flavors coming through.
And the Pisco is distinctive. This does not taste like, it tastes like this Pisco sour and not others using different Piscos. I think it comes through.
I can't imagine it wouldn't. I think the grapes you use have to matter. And the single varietals, I just feel like will have more
so this one
of
is
the character of the grape than a blend.
I think this one is more
blends, of course,
more floral, more perfumey than some others I've had. That this may be a particularly floral, perfumey.
I think the thing about the Quebrantas are that they're the ones adding the flowery note. Oh my god.
So good.
Pisco sours are so good. They're so good.
They're like holding a little kitten to your
And
face.
they're so simple. I mean, daiquiris are good too, but for some reason, Pisco sour is just.
I mean, the
it's
egg
almost
white.
mind blowing every time. Like I made one for my aunt Ronnie came here once,
Right.
and I made a Pisco sour, and it was just like it blows everyone's mind.
It does.
Wild.
It's delicious. Can I go sit over there? And
Yeah. She's gonna sit down.
What are you gonna do next? What's our next Pisco maneuver?
So I got there was a comment on something. I can't remember now what the comment was on which video, but I think it was from someone with a strange name like Angry Snail. It wasn't Angry Snail. It was like Hideous Snail or something like that. I don't know if they're here or not, but just talking about Pisco. And they were talking about a drink called the Fair Harvard. So I guess there's a drink called the Harvard, which is like a martini, except you use a cognac. So like cognac, dry vermouth, and bitters, orange bitters. And the Fair Harvard, someone came up with to use Pisco as a substitute for the brandy. So like a Pisco Martini. And that sounded like it might be okay.
Before we do that, Pete, I just want to back up and like catch up on some stuff that's happened in the chat.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Alchemix Bar wondered if a Pisco Clover Club would be good. I think that is an interesting idea.
Pisco Clover Club.
That's the Pisco as gin.
So is the Martini.
Right.
Like this fair thing is more like Pisco as gin. But yes, a Pisco Clover Club.
So that's an interesting idea.
Again, how could it be bad?
Right. It's going to have the egg white. It's going to have the citrus. It's going to be good. That's a really neat idea.
That's a good idea. I don't have raspberry syrup right now.
So.
Because the raspberries plants have stopped blooming and stuff. So.
Someone asked, this might be a joke. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm not the funny one. I have a bottle of Singani. Is that a variation of Pisco?
Okay. Yes, that is a good question. Singani comes from Bolivia. It is similar. It is an unaged brandy, distilled brandy. There's one that comes into America called Singani 63, I think it's called. And it's a brand owned by a film director. I think it's David Mamet or something.
So he's a writer.
Somebody looked this up, and maybe it wasn't Mamet. I think it was a director. Anyway, some guy with money from directing movies decided he went to Bolivia and tried this stuff. Thought, I'm going to import this, and so it's called Singani, which is the name what it's called there. 63 because he was born in 1963.
Okay.
So like a real ego trip kind of deal. But it is related. It's a similar thing, but
it's from Bolivia.
But it's from Bolivia. And the one I had is they're like super intense. They're like real like floral, but like insanely floral. And a lot hotter and a lot like a little bit crazier.
It's distilled wine.
Distilled wine. And I don't know about their rules in terms of distilling to proof, or if they distill it higher and water it down. I don't know that much about it. Okay. And there's only the one that I know of that you can get in America. But that would be like an interesting swap for Pisco. Like if you made a Singani sour, like a Pisco sour, I bet that would be pretty intense.
Some other comments
Yeah.
are splitting the base in Pisco sour lemon lime. That makes perfect sense. I'm sure that would be delicious.
I'm sure that would be delicious. I bet people do that.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
And then someone else mentioned Pisco punch, which I think you and I discussed. I think that trip when we were in San Francisco and I had all the Pisco sours, it was when those were hot in San Francisco a minute ago, which is what the comment says. And I think I had one. I think it had pineapple in it, or maybe just pineapple gum.
It has pineapple.
It makes me think of pineapple for some reason.
When I was doing research, I noticed Pisco punch as a popular one. I don't know that I've made those here, I don't have pineapple juice, so.
And I remember having it it was in Hayes Valley. I don't remember loving it the way I love the Pisco sour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, pineapple drinks are delicious, but.
So there's just a couple more. People were very excited about the, shaking of the drink and everything. What's our verdict on the reverse shaking and the ball? It's like something wasn't quite right about the foam. I don't know.
I think, so this is something Brett, who told me the method about the special reverse shake for the high proof in that video. He commented on the second video saying that what he would do is shake with ice, no egg for a minute, like a short time, not all, just a brief one, just to dilute it a little, and then put the egg in and then shake, because having the ice in there makes better foam to him. Like it would be less, like when we made that video and Justin and I made that successful drink, the Successful Millionaire, the foam was very lacy. It was very light, like almost like a cappuccino, not like a very lacy. Like you would if you put Engo on it, it would sort of pop all the bubbles.
Right.
And I think the goal, at least my goal, is usually like a thicker, sort of denser foam where you can put the art on. I think this one came out pretty good.
Yeah.
But
the art wasn't crisp, but it's holding up pretty well. I'll come bring it back for the fans to see how
because this is what we did. This is what we did
on the table, but this is still looking pretty good.
When we did it in that video, we didn't have the little ball, and it came out like sort of very lacy.
Yeah. So
I think the ball
maybe helps.
I think the ball maybe helps.
Okay, so there's
people
are doing some shopping for Pisco here, which sounds like it's being successful. That's going great. People are going to get some at Total Wine. Sure. You can find it there. Buy it where you can. And I think, okay.
If you're shopping, I would definitely like look and see what you're getting. Look up the brand, see if it's from Chile or Peru, so at least you'll know what to compare it to. And if you can get a single varietal, I think that's pretty fun. And if you can't, look it up and see if you can see what the grapes are in it, so that you can, like, I don't know what you're getting into, and then compare it so that if you buy another bottle some other time, they'll be able to compare and know this one from that one. That's half the fun to me. Yeah.
Anyway, I think that people are fine. I think the answer is that no matter where you are, it sounds like everyone's facing a somewhat limited selection of Pisco choices.
I mean, like I was saying earlier, I think I found about 15 or 20 bottles, not all of which were even available, which is probably pretty good.
And that's in Oregon?
That's in Oregon.
Wow.
Is that right? 15? Yes, 15.
Wow.
Something.
Well, I imagine that in the weeks to come, you'll be driving all over the state, picking those up for a future video.
If something is limited in Oregon, you can find it in Portland. Where you'll find it is probably Portland, so I probably won't have to drive around the state. Just drive around the city.
Okay, so thank you for letting me catch you up on the chat. I hope I caught all the important things.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were going to talk about this Fair Harvard.
Oh yeah, all right. So we were talking about Fair Harvard, which will be basically a Pisco Martini. I'm not a huge into martinis, but I kind of thought that would be fun to try.
Yeah.
If anybody has, I don't know, any ideas about that, I haven't made it yet. We can do a tweak on it before we even start.
So what's it going to be? It's going to be Pisco.
Pisco. I think the recipe I saw said Blanc vermouth, but I only have dry right now, so we'll use dry. It's fine. Or I could use Lillet, but I think I'll just go with dry vermouth for now.
Okay. And that's it.
Very simple drink. Pisco, dry vermouth, orange bitters, lemon peel, garnish. See what we think.
Should I get you some ice?
Yeah, let's grab some ice. And why don't you grab the dry vermouth out of the fridge? It's in the little short bottle with the orange cap. Cool. I'm going to look at the chat. I'm looking at the chat. Oh, people are shopping. Yeah. Yeah, it is good for sipping. We sipped some earlier. I bet you could have it after dinner, after your Italian meal. Hi, Katie. My sister's here. Cool. We got ice. I'm going to make this drink. This will be a stirred drink. I'm going to start. You know what? Let's start with the least expensive ingredients. I'm going to use these. These are my orange bitters at the moment. They are a local bitter housewife bitters. I've been kind of enjoying them. I have these Reagan's orange bitters also, but I don't know. I don't love them. I feel like they taste like
Celery?
Celery. They taste like celery to me, which I want them to taste like orange.
I'm not sure I ever thought they tasted like celery.
It tastes like something.
Well, those have been
orange
good,
bitters always have some something else in them.
to bitter them.
Well, to bitter them, but also usually they'll have some kind of baking spice or some kind of other spiciness. It's not just orange. But whatever O'Regan's has is maybe not my favorite. And I think when they first came out, it was one of the only ones available. People weren't making a lot of orange bitters at the time. And so it was like a big deal in the cocktail world or whatever. But now I feel like there's just a ton of options. And so you don't have to go with Reagan's if you don't want to. I'm going to do 2-to-1 martini recipe just as a default. 2 ounces of Pisco. Boom. Get my ice. Oops.
There's another idea for a drink here.
I love it.
Have you tried the Final Ruse? RHUSE.
What is that going to be a final word, but with Pisco?
I'm going to look it up for you.
Final Ruse.
It's on cocktail version.
My favorite. Cocktail version is the best.
3/4 Pisco, 3/4 yellow chartreuse, 3/4 rhubarb syrup. Damn it, we don't have any. 3/4 lime. Yes, it's a final word with.
But with rhubarb syrup.
This is a fun idea.
Okay, I can make that next summer. We should somehow. I got to make a note of drinks for next summer, because if I had known about that when I had rhubarb syrup that I made, I would have definitely made that.
Yeah, yellow chartreuse and rhubarb syrup. That sounds
dope as hell.
Yeah, I don't know how we make a note about that, but yeah, rhubarb syrup not currently available. Has anyone suggested a Pisco Corpse Reviver number 2?
I mean, that's subbing it for gin.
That's, again, these are all gin subs, or well, no, but funny, the Final Ruse that I just found has got different ingredients than the one that's being posted here. This one's calling for Aperol, not rhubarb syrup.
Well, we have that.
I used a rhubarb mistel. I don't know what that is.
A rhubarb what?
Mistelle.
I don't know what that is either.
Also, Katie wants to see the glass. Your tilt is, yeah.
My tilt is.
She's right.
Here's my Fair Harvard.
Looks like a martini.
Looks like a martini. Let's see how it tastes.
I'll come taste it with you.
I mean, I'm not a huge lover of martinis, and I find that to be a little bit too dry. It doesn't have the, well, I was about to say it doesn't have that sort of crisp brightness of a martini. I think it's too dry. It might be this vermouth. This is my current vermouth that I have
And
on
they
hand.
said Blanc
Alessio.
vermouth and you're using dry vermouth.
They said Blanc and
Maybe
I'm
you should
using
have tried
dry.
it Lillet.
So maybe I should have tried Lillet. That would have made it a little sweeter and a little less herbaceous, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not that. That just tastes like vermouth, doesn't it?
For some reason, the Pisco is not really.
That may be a
Popping
somewhat
off.
delicate Pisco that you've got there, Pete.
I mean, it stands up to lime and egg white.
It's pretty delicate, though.
Interesting. Interesting.
Okay.
Nicholas is saying that Mistel is a combination of fruit juice and spirit. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
So like a rhubarb Mistel would be rhubarb juice fortified with vodka or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. Learned something. I learned something. I'm learning things on my own effing stream. Okay, so that drink was not my favorite.
I think partly it's because we're not using the right vermouth.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So I won't condemn it unfairly yet.
And it's possible that's not necessarily the perfect Pisco for it.
It's possible it's not.
One suggestion, just throw some more Pisco in there and give it a stir. Like just bump up the Pisco.
Now we're talking. This is what I'm talking about. This is Cocktail Lab at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? I'm not married to this drink. I
No?
don't have any obligations to it.
Precious about this drink?
I think precious. Maybe I'll just do it I'll do it like a bar spoon or two. Do like 2 bar spoons. Because I've already drank some down, so I don't want to like totally blow up proportions.
Could we do a Pisco Corpse Reviver? Do we have the things?
We have lemons. We have Lillet. We have orange liqueur.
We have absinthe.
We have absinthe.
We totally could.
So yeah, we totally could.
Mm.
I mean, should we take a vote? What's?
And what's the other? What else is there to try? I guess.
Uh,
Oh, we talked about maybe trying to use it like rum, so maybe doing an El Presidente.
it's a little better with more. I guess what I should have done is put in less vermouth.
Yeah.
Okay, if I made that again, I would do 2 ounces of Pisco and maybe 3/4 dry vermouth, or I would use Lillet instead, or Blanc vermouth like Dolin Blanc or something.
Yeah.
That might be better.
Yeah.
Well, the other ideas I had were to make like a tea punch. So just like, Pisco with a little sugar and a little squeeze of lime. Like I did with the Clarin.
Yeah.
Those are delicious. I don't know if it would stand up to that
I don't
or
know
not.
what's going to stand up. Those Clarins are so intense.
The Clarins are pretty intense. It would be a different kind of drink, and we'd obviously have to change the name because tea punch purists would go ballistic.
Called Pea Punch.
Pea punch. This is why we keep Susan around.
Mm-hmm.
The other idea was to make an El Presidente, which would be, not 100%, not totally dissimilar to this martini that we made. We'd be sweetening it up with grenadine and orange liqueur. So, I mean, I love an El Presidente. And, I mean, it's this but sweeter. So, I mean, is it a surprise that I don't like this that much because it's not sweet enough? Not really.
You just pour some of that into the shaker, into the mixing glass.
I could just pour this
Some
back in
grenadine.
with some grenadine and orange liqueur and stir it again.
See what you think.
That's not right. That's not classy.
It's not classy at
Keep
all.
it classy, everybody.
All right, what are we gonna do?
Or we could do a corpse reviver.
I mean,
Votes.
yeah, we need some votes. You guys want to see what are our choices again? The Tea Punch, the El Presidente, and the Corpse Reviver.
Tea punch, El Presidente, corpse reviver. Those are our 3 ideas.
Our 3 ideas for something in Pisco and seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
Votes? Anybody?
Anybody? Votes? I
I
wonder
don't
if there's
get
a
to drink
delay.
them, so
Having never done this stream, I wonder how long it takes to.
There's definitely a delay because even just here, when I'm watching it and it's delayed.
Okay, so I'm waving my hands, and I don't wave my hands over there until a few seconds later or whatever.
Pilar is voting for Pea Punch.
Yeah, Pilar is voting for Pea punch.
Dashel suggested the Corpse Reviver, so he feels he's biased. I
Yes.
disagree. I think he should vote for it.
Well, I
also vote for the Corpse Reviver.
I count that as a vote. Gliderman 247's here, and Dashel have both put in "Let Me Fix That For You" in the past.
Thank you.
And we were gonna do this. So is Nicholas Fines has put in a "Let Me Fix That For You," I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And this stream was going to be a "Let Me Fix That For You," where someone from the chat, someone from the
community,
someone from the viewership suggests a drink, and we make it, and we try and tweak it or adjust it according to people in the chat. But nobody really suggested any drinks.
No one had a drink in mind this week.
No one had a drink in mind this month. We're going to think about maybe doing these every month if there's like sufficient interest. So if someone wants, if you feel like it now, you can suggest a drink, or you can comment on a video or hit me on Instagram, and maybe we can do it in this format going forward. I think that might be kind of neat. If we abandon these, we'll go back to doing videos about it or whatever. But I want to encourage everyone who's watching to just throw out drink ideas on Instagram or wherever. So we'll have material to F around with.
All right, so we got a bunch of votes for Corpse Reviver and a couple of votes for P-Punch, and I can do whatever you want because there's no rules.
No rules. Let's do it. Let's do the Corpse Reviver.
All right, so I know what to do with the ice, and you need some lemon juice, which you're going to make with your fun.
Yes.
Oh, you need to rinse that out.
You know what to do with that.
I'll rinse out the juicer and get that for you too. What else do you need?
We need. There's Lillet in the fridge.
I will get you the Lillet.
Cool. So Susan's fetching my trusty barback. Auntie Susan is fetching ingredients. It's going to get a little crowded up here on the bar top as well. I may have to move a few things out of the way. The bowl that had the egg white, for example. I'm going to give this shaking tin on extra rinse. I have this system in my bar with this dump sink, but I couldn't plumb the, couldn't get any, water coming into the bar, so I have to use a bottle to pour water in there. Is the best solution we could come up with. I'm gonna move this cocktail elsewhere.
What did you do with the juicer? You have it back?
I put it's in there. So this goes here. This we don't need right now. Grab my bar towel. Okay, how we doing? We're gonna put up this lemon. Thank you. I'm gonna reset my little tray. This is not a great solution, but it's okay. And then Corpse Reviver will be equal parts. Grunt. So equal parts. Should we do? We'll do 3/4 ounce. Because that's reasonable. I'm just gonna move this. Spark top is good, it's big enough, but I am getting, when you start laying things out, leaving things out on top, it gets a little crowded.
It does. It's a small bar top.
We're gonna do the lay. And then I actually have orange liqueur options.
Mm-hmm.
Chat, do you think Pierre Ferrand Dry Curacao? That's my go-to for most things. But I also have, that was hard to get for a while here for some weird reason. And also Cointreau was hard to get. So I picked up this Cointreau Noir, which is, it's Cointreau mixed with cognac. So both two cognac-based orange liqueurs, basically. But I also have, if you want, for a fun twist, I also have Clement Creole Shrub, which is rum, agricole rum-based orange liqueur. It's a little bit spicier. It's like a spicy kind of tropical orange liqueur, which is pretty good. And key ingredient in the Southern Governor one of my favorite drinks of my own creation.
And an El Presidente variation.
Yes, and an El Presidente
So what do you think is the right
variation.
answer for a Pisco Corpse Reviver?
Well, I mean, my instinct is to go with Pierre Ferrand because that's what I always use.
Okay,
But
let's do that.
I mean, maybe if someone had a strong opinion.
Let's do that.
Okay. The Cointreau Noir is a little bit too cognac-y, maybe even. All right, so we're doing that. I'm gonna grab a glass and I'm gonna prep the glass by spritzing with absinthe. Some glass choices. What will we do? We'll do this. We're gonna do a glass like that, because that's fun. Maybe I will tilt this down for extra drama.
I think you should. Yeah.
I got my absinthe in a little squirt atomizer squirt bottle thing. I'll put a little in the glass, and then I will top it off with some more when the time comes. Get my D10. Let's grab our strainers. We will get our absinthe back, give it a little extra spritz for aroma.
Garnish?
Absinthe spritz counts as a garnish in my world.
You don't do lemon peel on those?
Not usually. I mean, we could, I guess.
Mm.
I'm going to say that's totally delicious. Absolutely delicious.
I'm just not sure. Do I taste the Pisco?
Not 100%. What I'm getting mostly is orange.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a lot of orange.
Orange and lemon. It's a
And
lovely orange lemonade.
With the absinthe sort of on the nose as an accent. So, I mean, we said setting on the outset, it may not be a great sub for gin because it doesn't have all those botanicals
right,
that really will cut through certain drinks. And while
I mean, that tastes fine. It just doesn't.
It tastes good.
It tastes.
I get like a vanilla, like there's like a vanilla note. I don't know. It's pretty good, but I wouldn't say that it
cuts through.
Well, I wouldn't say it features Pisco. I wouldn't say it showcases Pisco particularly.
I think you better try the pea punch.
I better try pea punch. That was a good idea, but maybe not a huge hit because we haven't yet done what I thought we might do, which is sub it for
rum.
Well,
let's do it.
Let's try pea punch.
Pea punch.
Do we want to serve it on ice or just?
You're gonna need some more ice, aren't you?
Straight up.
Tell me, you want the stirring ice?
Yeah. What else do we need? I have the sugar. I have a lime.
You want to give me back the Lillet?
Sure. That's good.
Yeah.
Why am I looking at my tea punch recipe? I already know how to make a tea punch. I just like to look things up so that I don't screw it up when the time comes. Yes. So many things start with T. It's not in here. Oh. No, forget that. Okay, tea punch is going to be Pisco with a little bar spoon of sugar, and we're going to just serve it with a lime, and we'll squeeze a little lime in it when we drink it. And I think I'll just serve it no ice, just
Do you have sugar?
for fun. Yeah, I have the sugar here. Okay. This is like the simplest drink in the world, really. Sort of like an old-fashioned, but not. I wonder if it would be good with brown sugar syrup.
I wouldn't do it.
I don't think so. I think I'm going to stick with the gum.
I think that what's
Gum
been
will be
happening
a
is
little more neutral.
the Pisco is very delicate and it's getting overpowered by things easily. And that brown sugar syrup is molasses-y.
Yeah, the brown sugar syrup is pretty not intense, but just it's full of flavor. It's rich and full of flavor.
Rich and full of flavor.
And so that's whatever. Actually, you could move that to the table.
Okay.
Great, because
It's in the way.
it's in the way, and those are my notes for talking about Pisco, so I didn't forget. But we stopped. We covered all those points, so let's do the angry Aussie version where he's always picking up his glass to stir.
I mean, it shows the stirring. You want to see the action, I have to say, from watching it over there. It's like, I can't see what you're doing. I want to see.
Yeah. I guess I could move it back at least. Anyway, let's. Boy, that's going to be good. I mean, you could serve this over on a big rock or in small cubes, but I think we're just going to try this just for fun. I'm going to cut like a lime wedge. Just going to give it like a little spritz.
Oh, it doesn't look like the greatest lime of all time.
This is the greatest lime of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Pea punch.
Pea punch.
Mm.
Mm.
I mean, it definitely stands up to that. That's delicious. It's a little dilution, a little
It's delicious.
a little extra sweetness. Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, I think one of the things when I do this with like that Clarin or with like a higher proof agricole or just with a more pungent sort of agricole is you're diluting it a bit. You're sort of mellowing out the sort of intensity of some of those spirits. Mm-hmm. Whereas this isn't like a super
you can totally sip
crazy. Isn't like a super hot. It isn't super intense or overpowering. So, this is good, but not required.
It's a lovely way to drink it, but you could just sip it.
That's good.
It's possible the thing Pisco is most like is grappa.
It's possible it's most like grappa. It has some grappa-like qualities, 100%. I mean, what if we made a grappa tea punch, a ghee punch? Gree punch.
Gree punch. In an aviation, it's the and then there have been some suggestions. I don't know if you noticed that we just need to switch up the proportions. Like you can't sub it 1-for-1 for gin. You have to sub it 1.3-for-1 for gin.
Yeah, that makes
something
more,
like that.
That makes more sense.
But that might be a way of overcoming it. I also think this may be a more delicate Pisco. Maybe we need to find a blend that's a little punchier.
That could
for
be
these ideas.
Absolutely. I think these are all excellent ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm doing a drink, if I'm making up a drink and I'm swapping up ingredients like the base spirit, I will typically just do it straight and see how it goes, and then adjust from there. So yeah, I think definitely in the Corpse Reviver, I think the thing to do would be like even tweak the proportions a lot more. Do an ounce and a half of Pisco and half an ounce of those others of the other ingredients, just because.
Pisco,
you really would rather you prefer the Pisco to punch through better. it doesn't need to be sweetened that much. It doesn't need to be toned down. It needs to be buoyed up. So I think if we made that again, we would definitely
Up it.
Yeah. And see where that took us. Cool.
Interesting. Where are we at, babe?
Well, where are we at? We've made 4 drinks. It's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a reasonably long live stream.
Still have some Pisco Sour left.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Should we monitor the chat a little and see if there's any questions or, I don't know, issues?
I mean, here's the comment about larger proportion of the cocktail. Pisco, yep. And then the aviation idea. Another gin sub.
Yeah, I think aviations aren't my favorite either for some reason.
What's in an aviation?
Creme de violet and lemon and gin.
Oh, isn't that a lot of people are very fond of that.
I know it's very popular, but it's just
we
not
don't
my
have a
favorite.
creme de violet.
What we do have is homemade
Lavender
liqueur.
That is not the same thing.
Obviously, it's not the same, but it's. I was using it as a sub for creme de violet, which I don't have because I didn't want to buy it. Just because it's really only in one drink that I've had at bars, and I wasn't like my favorite thing. So I just decided I'm not going to have this bottle taking up space that I'm putting, a quarter ounce in an aviation once every 5 years because I don't really want to drink them. You know what I mean?
It's totally reasonable.
I think that's reasonable. But making stuff is fun, and so I made.
And we have a yard full of lavender.
And we have a yard full of lavender, so that made sense.
It's very lavendery. I don't think of lavender as something one eats.
Susan isn't very fond of lavender.
And not as I like it as a smell, not as a food. So maybe that's it, Pete. Maybe we're
Steven's right. Steven Greenspan's right. We'd have to change the proportions of the.
Yeah, same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Infuse the pisco.
But then why not just use gin?
But yeah, if you're gonna infuse pisco, you might as well just use gin.
Yeah.
Because then you have to worry about what you're infusing it with and what you're. Yeah. But I mean
let's talk about, is Pisco expensive?
Is it expensive? This bottle, I don't remember, $30-ish,
Not so
$35,
much.
between 30 and 40.
You'll buy a bottle of gin and dump it on top of some plum hulls without even thinking twice about it.
I will do that.
Would you do that with a bottle of Pisco?
I mean, I just feel like Pisco it's not that it's expensive, it's that it's difficult to obtain. Like there's not that much of it. And the way Oregon works, a lot of the time they'll get I don't know how it works exactly, but they'll get like a shipment of stuff and it's like, oh, this bottle of Pisco is easy to get. And then bars buy it and it goes away. And then for some reason, like you can't get it anymore. There's none available.
I see.
And then it takes a minute for them to decide, well, we should order some more Pisco from the distributor or whatever. And then, they order for the whole state at once. So then it's like suddenly available again all over the place. So it's one of those things where it's like I wouldn't just dump it.
You can't count on it being.
I wouldn't just dump
again.
it into an infusion just because.
You can get another bottle. You don't know.
I don't know if I can get another bottle necessarily. So, also, I think we've determined today that it being a little more delicate may not be the thing to then overpower in an infusion.
All right.
Like vodka's good for an infusion because it doesn't it extracts the flavors and doesn't get in the way. You know what I mean? And some infusions are good because they go together, like tequila, like strawberry tequila. Like strawberry and tequila just go really well together. And I've also found actually that plum and brandy go super well together. And this plum brandy is amazing and thick. It's like thickened up. It's got like this gloopiness. Anyway, I love it.
A little creepy.
Well,
maybe we've hit the end of our Pisco conversation, and maybe it's time to.
Well, let's see let's just review the
folks
chat
want
for a
us to
minute.
stick around. Moto
Yeah.
Montenegro. We have some Montenegro.
We have Montenegro. The other thing you can do in Cocktail Lab is just pour two
Pour
things
things
into
together
a
and
glass
see what they taste.
happens.
Yeah.
Let me grab this glass back. This is my
I
Pisco
still have
glass
some
from earlier.
Pisco tasting glass with some Pisco in it, actually. You want that? Pete, actually, here, use this. There's plenty of Pisco in there still.
Oops, I poured too much. I'll have to have a sip.
Yeah. I'm still enjoying my sour.
All right, Pisco and Montenegro. Pisco.
You're going to like that.
That was extremely precise.
I think you're going to like that. It's a lot of Pisco.
Montenegro
And a
is sweet and it's very floral. It tastes mostly of Montenegro. Yeah, Pisco. I think.
Yep.
I think it's a little hard to mix with Pisco.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't hold up to a lot of things. So as people have been saying, definitely good to up the proportions if you're going to use Pisco as a sub in another drink. I think that's for sure. And I think you don't want to use like a lot of things with like heavy botanicals and like heavy. Like I'm starting to think creme de violet would blow away the Pisco also.
Because it's a heavy floral
Well,
flavor.
yeah, it tastes like violet flowers.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
it sounds like, basically you're saying it's unmixable.
I didn't say that. I mean, a Pisco sour is delicious, but it's mixing with sugar and lime, which aren't like gonna overpower the drink. Anyway, this P punch is delicious. What are other favorites? Corpse Survivor will be good if we change proportions.
I think that's right.
I think we did 1.5, half. It would be pretty awesome. Maybe I'll get some more bottles and I'll make a video and we can make that again. And maybe that'll be good. What else? What other conclusions should we draw? If you're going to make this martini version, definitely use a Blanc or a Lillet or something.
And maybe watch your proportions again.
Watch your proportions.
And then maybe we should try Singani. If maybe that's punchier, maybe that's a worthwhile. If you want to mix with something that's Pisco-like.
Yeah, the Singani, the stuff I've had, it's super aromatic. And in fact, like at the bar, they were having trouble using it. It was a little too much. It would overpower other things. And so they were using it just like as a spritz. They were spritzing Singani spritz. Because it would hit you in the face as soon as you open the bottle.
Well, I think that sounds really interesting to play around with.
Yeah, so I don't know who it was that was mentioning Singani, but consider using it as a spritz or like a rinse in the glass because
that's some interesting
pretty fun.
things.
Like it was a little accent note or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Emma's asking about substituting in brandy cocktails.
I think you have the same overpowerment
I think
problem.
we have the same
because most brandies are aged.
Overpowerment problem.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks everybody for coming.
Do we have a nature video?
We don't have a nature video for this. I don't know how we need to up our technology somehow for the next one if you want to like throw weird videos in and whatnot.
We'll bring the cat back for the nature video. Goodbye.
We'll bring the cat back for the nature video.
Okay.
Pisco and tonic, sure. Pisco and tonic would be good.
All right.
Or Pisco and soda, I bet would be good even. Pisco and soda with a lime wedge, I bet that'd be good.
Thanks everybody for coming to the live stream.
Thanks for coming to the live stream. I really appreciate it. I think we'll try and do it next month. If you have, let me fix that for you. Notions, I'd say either comment on this video after it's a video on YouTube or just go to Uncle Pete's Cocktail Shop on Instagram and suggest those, and maybe we can do that here. And I think that would be super fun. Bye. Mike Shim says bye. Okay, I'm going to end it.
Do it.
I'm going to end it.
Do it.
End.